Alrighty, folks, welcome back to the channel. Hope you are good and staying rubber side down. So, as the title says, am I a Ford? Well, as some of you have been watching some of my videos recently, I recently competed in the Sisu Pinky Tour, which is a 7 race series that mimics or pays homage to the Giro d'Italia. And in that racing series, I really did progress and did pretty well. I ended up winning a couple of races. I was leading category B for a while, and then ended up getting myself promoted to category A, which I've got to admit was somewhat of a surprise. I really did not think I was going to progress that quickly. I really thought after getting promoted into B, it was going to be a case of literally just surviving and clinging on. So, as it turns out, it might not have all been as it seems. And so I'm going to dive into that in this video today, and then maybe at the end of the video you can make your own decision as to whether I'm a fraud or not. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so a key part of, I guess, all of this is the fact that I use a jet black Victory trainer for my indoor setup. Now, I've had this for around about a year now, since I moved into the new K abode. It's been fantastic. I use it with the Zwift Cog, which has been a huge improvement over using normal gearing. It's so much quieter. It's nice to have just be able to use thumb buttons on the Zwift Click, and yeah, it's just smoother, quieter. It's just the whole experience is a lot nicer. So yeah, it's really been fantastic. And I guess what happened is that I've been progressing. Obviously, I've been using this quite a lot, been progressing. But what I found was that when I went outside in the real world on my road bike, I could never put out the same amount of power. I noticed that for the same power output, my heart rate was maybe 15, 20 beats per minute higher. Now I just put this down to just a slightly different setup. This is a much older TCR, and I wondered if maybe the geometry wasn't quite the same as my outdoor setup, or maybe because I'm outdoors with the more air sort of moving over, I'm not able to get enough oxygen into my lungs, and that's why I'm not able to put out the same amount of power for the same amount of heart rate. So eventually I finally decided I should probably bring my outdoor bike and put it on the trainer and compare, because this does not have any power meter on it other than the trainer, whereas my outdoor bike I use Giant Power Pro power meter on the crank, on double-sided on both cranks. So I thought then, yeah, I could compare the setup and see where the change was. Alrighty, so I got my outdoor bike on the trainer, all set up, and decided to do a quick lap on Zwift of flat loop. And once I'd completed that, I jumped onto Strava, grabbed the fit files, and then came to this very handy website called comparethewatts.com. Now here you can take those fit files and basically upload them, and it will compare them. So I took the two files, the one from the Giant Power Pro and from the Jet Black Trainer, and as you can see here, RPM very similar, not a lot of difference. However, on the power side of things, quite a bit of variation. So here, sort of anywhere between 25, almost 30% to down to about 11, 10%, which is absolutely not normal. Even with small sprint sections, it's still even. Oh, sorry, I mean, it's still quite a disparity and this basically means that one of my devices is not reading correctly. And at this particular moment in time, I am really hoping that it is my Giant Power Pro that is underreading, as opposed to my Jet Black Trainer, which is overreading, because I would really like to be able to see those power improvements. So yeah, at this point, I am, as I said, really hoping that my Jet Black Victory is the one showing the correct power. So decided that really all I can do is basically try and calibrate both. I've always on top of trying to ensure that firmware is updated, that things are calibrated. So I ran through all the processes again, and made sure that everything was up to date and that calibrations were done correctly. And I still got the same result. So one's not right and one is correct. And I need to work out which one is which. So the only way I can do this, I did as much Googling as I could. I went through all the forums. Both devices can be prone to discrepancies. So really, I couldn't narrow down which one was which, basically without a third source. So I managed to get a third power meter source, which was a friend's set of Favreau Asimo dual-sided pedals, which I borrowed for the evening. And I did another ride where I had all three devices running at the same time. And hopefully I should be able to work out which one is the right one. Alrighty, so I jumped back on the trainer with the Favreau Asimo pedals on as well. And you can see here that the Jet Black Victory is in the light blue, the Giant Power Pro is in the purple, and the Favreau Asimos are in this pink. And looking at the power, you can see that the purple and the pink, which is the Favreau Asimos and the Giant Power Pros, are pretty similar here. And the Jet Black Victory is way higher. So what I created a custom workout where I basically just pedaled for a minute at ever increasing power. So here it was set at 100, up to 160, and then I think 200 and 240. And yeah, you can see that the pedals and cranks are definitely following each other, but the Jet Black trainer is definitely got that 20% discrepancy. So unfortunately, it is my trainer that is overreading as opposed to my Giant Power Pro power meter underreading, which I got to admit was somewhat of a blow to the ego. But I have at least worked out where the issue is and what I need to fix. So, where do I go from here? Well, the first thing I did was reach out to Jet Black support and advise them that I'd identified a discrepancy, compared the power readings compared to two other sources, and that theirs was out. They got back to me pretty quickly. I was pretty impressed with the whole process. I sent them some logs from the trainer after doing a workout, so that they could get all the detailed raw information they needed, and that was sent through to their development team. And a few days later, they got back to me and advised me that there was a new calibration update that would be available in the app. So if you have a Jet Black trainer, a Victory, and you see calibration update 17.2, you can thank me for that. So ran the new calibration update, calibrated the Jet Black again using the app, jumping on, spinning it up to 35 kilometers an hour, and then it cool down, and then jump back on, and yeah, let's have a look at the results. So after calibration, we can see that initially there was a little bit of discrepancy. However, so the light blue is the Power Pro, and the purple is the Jet Black Victory. And you can see, yeah, initially the Power Pro was a little higher, but then it settled down. And then we actually got a consistent result, only out by a couple of percent, which is considerably more consistent than what it was previously, especially as you start to get into the higher powers, when the sort of 160, 200, oh, sorry, this would be 150, as it auto adjusted after the calibration. And you can see, yes, it's certainly looking much more realistic now. So very happy with that. And now I feel confident that my indoor trainer is actually showing me the power that I'm actually being able to put out. So where do we go from here? Well, I will admit that my ego has taken quite the battering. I have been training pretty hard for Amy's Gran Fondo with the goal of qualifying for the UCI World Gran Fondo. And with my old trainer power and my current weight, I thought I might actually be in with a chance. But this has knocked things back a little bit. It really is crazy how much difference 20% in power makes in cycling. But I'm just very happy that I am finally able to jump on the trainer now and race and ride on Zwift with the correct power. I can train. I've got a much better understanding now of where my level is, even if it's not where I want it to be or thought it previously was. So I guess realize now that I've just got to keep training, and get myself into a good position for Amy's, which is in 10 weeks odd now. I have 2 weeks off. I am going to the UK, where unfortunately I won't be able to train, but that's going to be probably a well-deserved little break in the middle of my training. And then I come back, and I think I've got around 7 weeks before the race. So I'm going to be training pretty hard for that. And the goal is to try and get my actual FTP up to around about 275. That was always my goal. I did do an FTP test after the calibration, and I'm currently sitting at 258. I think maybe I might be able to squeeze a few more FTP or a few more watts out before the race with some training. So I will keep everyone updated with how I go with that. So, in conclusion, I would just like to apologize to all of those who I raced against in Sisu Pinky, who maybe I beat. If I'd have known, would never have, wouldn't have raced. And I would like to say a big apology to all of you who I maybe beat and didn't give the opportunity to win a race. I would like to say a big thank you to Jet Black Support for getting to the bottom of this. It was obviously a very technical issue, buried deep in firmware, which is never easy to identify. As someone from a technical background, I understand that. So I'd like to say a big thank you for getting that resolved so quickly. And I guess where do I go from here? Well, Sisu Tour 2026 is starting this weekend. I will be racing in that. I am still technically category A, so I'm going to have to strap a parachute on because I am going to be tumbling down the categories real quick. But I am going to compete. I'm going to give it my best. It might seem like I am sandbagging. I am not. I am just simply readjusting to my new power meter, pit power, that is now accurate. So I will never will, never have, never will ever sandbag. I don't think it's, I always want to do the best that I can. So I will keep you all updated with how I progress in Sisu Tour 2026. So, am I a Ford? Am I not? Let me know in the comments. And yeah, until next time, we'll see you for potentially some live streams or some recordings on Sisu 2026. Until then, stay safe, stay rubber side down. See ya.